Welcome back to Redneck's Dirty Hands. I'm Pete, and today we are home safe and sound back in Ontario after the Heyday's 2024 show in Minnesota. Shout out to Ultimax for letting us tag along. You know, that was an eye-opener. That was a fantastic show. You know, met a ton of great fans and all that of the channel, and got a lot of interest in the old Par 1 there. You know, Christina and I had never been to Heyday's before. I could see why it's the biggest snowmobile event of the year. The thing is massive. You know, it's a once-in-a-lifetime thing. Well, hopefully not a once-in-a-lifetime thing. Hopefully we get to go back again next year and check out a little bit more. You know, the place is so big, you can't see everything in one day, let alone 2 days. And we were in the booth talking and having some cold ones with some fans of the channel there, so we didn't really get to venture out too far. We had a great time with Mike in the Ultimax booth there. And speaking of cold beer, you know, I put in the last video there how freaking cheap the beer was at the gas station. Everybody was commenting saying that, you know, oh, the beer there is only 3.2% in the gas station. But we must have bought ours in a different state, either Michigan or Wisconsin. I don't know, because the PBRs that I had were 4.7% and the Coors were 4.2. So we had the high test, I guess. Well, not as high test as the good old Canadian beer, but close. But yeah, being down there in Minnesota at Heyday's and showing off some of our builds, you know, we had the Par 1 there and people were absolutely loving it. Same with the Smartass Mofo. You know, people, you could see them, they were walking down the aisles and then they'd do the double take and be like, what the heck is that? We had this parked sideways in there so you could see the shifter, the handbrake, you know, and then you could get a glimpse of the parachute on there and they're like, why is there a parachute on this thing? It's like, oh yeah, because it's got a 1000cc street bike motor in there. And yeah, I've done 102 mile an hour on it so far. As soon as you tell people that, they're like, you're freaking nuts. Yeah, driving this thing's a little nuttier than squirrel turds, but that's what life's about, right? Like Harley Davidson says in Harley Davidson and Marlboro Man, I'd rather be dead and cool than alive and uncool. So this is a sure way of doing it. So now that we're back in the shop, you know, got a few things I had to change on this. You know, you can notice from before, that's a different handbrake in there. I didn't go and get a Willwood one. I went back to my buddy Bezos there and I got that one. That one's red, kind of matches the theme of it. And hopefully it doesn't lock the freaking brake on and scrub my speed off. So I swapped that out there. And then, you know, we were getting lots of positive feedback on this thing. And people saying, it's like, well, you got the handbrake on there. You got the shifter. You got a parachute rigged up on this thing, but where's the wheelie bar? So, yeah, as soon as I got home, first thing I did when I got back is fab up a wheelie bar on there. So, tickety-boo, there you go. So now we can just dump the clutch and not worry about dangling too hard. So, we're definitely going to be trying that out. But, you know, Heyday's does kind of signify the official start of winter, you know, and everybody's been commenting, you know, where's your mama? Where's the SRX with the 700 triple turbo? Don't worry. She's still here. I'll get working on it. But the thing is, I got the fuel tech on the Golfcart, and that's what I'm using for the fuel management and everything on this thing. So I want to, you know, I want to see if I can beat 102 mile an hour. But I'm going to give her one last kick at the can with this, and then I got to take the fuel tech off because that's exactly what I'm going to be using on your mama. So I actually just came back yesterday. I was talking to all the good fellas down at Antimassey Track and Trail there. That's where I bought the fuel tech. That's I'm going to be leaning on them a little bit on this thing. You know, I'm going to finish plumbing a few things. I got to do the coolant lines on your mama. I got to get the fuel lines all figured out, and then I'll have to wire it, and then I got to pull the motor out. We got to get a trigger wheel mounted on the flywheel, get a crank sensor, all that stuff rigged up so we can fire it, and then we'll use the fuel tech on it and probably take it down to Antimassey's and get her dialed in. So that's going to be in the next couple of videos, but we got a few things going on. I want to fart around a little more with my golf cart before I take the fuel tech off of there. And then the end of this month, we're going to be heading to Moorfield, Ontario for the Moorfield Drags. So I was calling it the Moorfield Grass Drags, but it's the Moorfield Drags. September 28th, we're going to be going there with a bunch of sleds. We're going to camp over, have some cold ones with all the fellas down there, and rip some sleds down the track. So I don't know what sleds we're going to take so far. Obviously, your mama's not ready. Lieutenant Dangles isn't ready yet. I haven't done any work on that, so we'll see. We'll have a few sleds down there. Maybe take the Braptor, I don't know, but if you guys are looking for a good time, Moorfield, Ontario, September 28th, some grass drags, some cold beers, some good times. Mark your calendar. But yeah, as soon as I got home, I had ordered that before we left for Minnesota for Heyday's. So it was sitting here waiting for me as soon as I got home. So, you know, it's nice. It's got the red anodized handle and the mount and all that. So hopefully It does the trick. I've got the shifter extension on there, so it's easier to grab gears while I'm on it. And I got my rope tied to the parachute. So maybe today's the day we might actually give that a try and deploy the parachute. So hopefully this wheelie bar that I rigged up on here does the trick. I haven't really tested it out yet, but that's just a set of heavy-duty casters McLean ski dropped off a while ago for D-Ron there. He never ended up using them. Like, well, meant to be. They're even red. So I just got some round bar tubing going right to the chassis there. It's kind of triangulated going to the top part and back, so it's nice and rigid. Oh, she's good and solid going right to the frame there. And they got a little bit of ground clearance there. Like, they're not touching or nothing. Those are fixed to the frame. It's not on the suspension, so even when you bounce the suspension, those don't drop down. So it's not actually working with the suspension. So I've got enough clearance here. Even if I put all my weight on there, they don't drop down or nothing. It's only if the angle of the dangle changes, then these will come in contact with the road and then, or the track. And then hopefully we can just point and shoot this thing. So we definitely got to test it out now. Normally I can only drive this when Christina's around. She doesn't want me driving it when I'm by myself just in case something bad happens. But she's got to go back to work. She's working there now. And I kind of want to rip this. So I won't tell her if you don't tell her. It'll be our little secret. Shh. And then in the next few videos, we'll have to blow the cobwebs off of your mama. Look how dusty, dirty she is. And then we'll tear into this project and hopefully get her wired and fired and making all the cool two-stroke turbo whooshy sounds. So let's kick the tires like the fires and let's see if she dangles out the shop door here. And then we'll take a trip to Mexico with the Draggy and the GoPro. And we'll see if that brake not hanging up there makes a difference. And maybe we'll get a new top speed out of her. Who knows? Aside from upgrading or changing out that handbrake, a lot of people were commenting on my tensioner and the bearing there and all that. So they were saying, you know, why not just remove a link out of the chain? If I took one link out, it was too much. So I needed like a half link. So I've switched it over. I got some number 50 regular roller chain on there with a half link. So it kind of straightens it out, but it was still a little bit too long. And then I got rid of the bearing setup and I've got it. That's actually an idler wheel out of a chain case from an Arctic Cat on there riding on a bolt and a bushing. So it's a lot stronger. I was a little bit worried that bearing setup because the bearing races are hard. And like if that grenaded and came apart, you know, I would definitely be beating Jesus 102 plus mile an hour down the road. So we can fix that up. So hopefully this is a lot more dependable, stronger. And then I got some air ducts rigged up. Remington gave me those scoops off of his NASCAR and those hoses. So I got air ducts running right to the radiator. So hopefully when I'm doing a long pull, keeps her nice and cool. But there's only one way to find out. We're just going to have to give her.
All right, let's see if this works.
Well, I'd say it works pretty good. As you can see, this thing's peeling rubber all the way out to the door. So that's a 25-foot tape measure hooked to the edge of the concrete. She was still spinning the tires, and we still got an extra 10 feet here. So yeah, that wheelie bar, you can plan it, point and shoot. You know, it is spinning the tires. You know, on a track, a prep service, she'd probably hook pretty hard, but at least this way, if she's not dangling, not getting out of control, just spinning the tires going straight. So I think I smell a quick 60-foot time coming here. So my last time I was about 2 seconds. I ran a 13.48 in a quarter mile with the Draggy there. So hopefully I can get that 60-foot down. Might get a quicker ET in the quarter mile. I don't know about mile an hour. I think I was running about 97 mile an hour, 95 to 97 mile an hour in the quarter. So hopefully that goes up. Hopefully the time comes down, and we might be in the run-in for world's fastest golf cart here. I don't know. Like, I know this concrete's pretty smooth, but she was just a roasting the tires. And there's the 25 feet. going right out the door. So I don't know how that number 50 chain with the half link's how it's gonna hold up to 100 plus mile an hour, but fingers crossed. We all survived this. We broke the throttle. At least we were able to coast her home. Well, I guess that's the last test drive of the day. Well, 2 steps forwards, 1 step back. So, I mean, some things are working out all right, but yeah, snap the freaking throttle cable on that pass there. Although my quarter mile time, 13:20 even, so that's not bad. And that was only at 92 mile an hour. And I think on the GoPro there, maxed out top speed, I was hitting 104. So, I mean, we're making some steps in the right direction, but then, you know what, finding the weak link on everything, you know, the throttle cable, in all fairness, the throttle cable that I'm using on that is a parking brake cable off a Yamaha Apex, which is pretty dinky, but I might have to custom make something a little beefier. I've ordered, I called up Blackstop Motorsports there. They're going to order me in a new parking brake cable for the Apex, so I'll have a backup throttle cable, but I'm going to have to rig something else up, I think, for sure. Oh, yeah, like, there's the eye loop there, and you can see there ain't no cable attached there, so she ripped her right off. Go under the seat here, and yeah, shouldn't have a wave in there. Oh yeah, there we go. Yeah, frayed her, ripped her right out, and that is pretty dinky cable, so I think it would be in my best interest to overbuild a throttle cable. So we'll use this as a guideline. You know, it sucks. Every time I take this thing out, something else goes wrong, but it's good to find all the weak links after a little bit. After you find all the weak links, you both build her strong, then we can just get out and rip her. But I wanted to deploy the parachute there, but now I can't even drive the freaking thing. So, and I don't know if I'll get a new cable in time for this video or figure out how to make something. I don't know. We'll see what happens. I don't know. I say chuck that over her shoulder and let's just grab a cold one instead. Oh, sometimes when you got problems in life, the only way to solve them is to have a cold one. Oh, yeah, see? Even got some of those PBRs left from the States, and I'll show you. Look at that. Right there, 4.7%. So all he is that say, oh, your beer's only got 3.2. We were drinking the high test, although my Canadian's 5%. This problem requires the high test. So I will sit down and enjoy a cold one and see if I can figure out a solution to this throttle cable issue. But I mean, hey, cheers to a top speed of 104 mile an hour. Nice one. Alrighty, now that I've had a little bit of barley brain juice, sitting there thinking of what I could do to fix this issue. Now the problem is, you know, as a parking brake cable on a Yamaha Apex, this is fine, but as a throttle cable on the Power 1, 180 horsepower Golfcart, not so much. This thing's only meant to like apply and, you know, release every once in a while, you know, not repetitive, and the spring tension I got on the throttle is too much for this anyway. So as you can see, this cable here, she's pretty dinky and frayed, but on this end, we got this little slug here. That fella is what goes into the, on the throttle bodies. But I can remove that, and then it's just got this casted piece here. So what I'm thinking, so I did a little bit of digging around, and on the shelf I have these braided stainless brake lines. So I mean, they're fairly hefty, and then they do thread together, just like so. So that'll give me the length I need to go from the throttle pedal to the throttle bodies. And then I have left over, this is steel cable that was for my, the lock on my hoist. So if we, let's just see here, thread this sucker right on through there. Come on. There we go. Keep going. Oh, look at that. Beauty, sticking out the other end. So now we got a hefty cable. So now what I'm thinking is take a piece of, this is just 3/8 copper tubing. I'm going to crush the one end in the vise, leave this as a pocket, grab a torch and some old lead wheel weights there. I'll burn the end of this, get all the crap off of there. I'll melt some lead into that, and then I'll cast it in there, let her dry, and then once it hardens up, then I'll just carve out this little design thingy here, and then that way I can use this slug in on the throttle bodies, and then on the other end I could just do a pinch bolt thing to pinch the cable to the throttle pedal, and then I'll have a heavy duty throttle cable that, I mean, you'd have to be freaking the Incredible Hulk to break this. So as long as it works, it'll work. All there is to pitter patter, get at her and see if this works, I guess. All right, so, I mean, I have absolutely no idea if this is going to freaking work, but I've got some wheel weights there, so, you know, it's lead. Obviously, you don't want to be breathing this in when you're burning or melting her in, but I got the piece of copper tubing squished in here, so I'm just going to melt some lead into this. Get this copper nice and warm, and we'll just melt a little bit of lead in there. No idea what the melting point of lead versus copper is. Again, we're just going to find out. It's actually hardening up quicker than I thought it would. Oh, Moses. All right, hold on. This torch ain't enough. I'll be right back. Probably should have just waited till Christina got home. Just could have had her hold on to it. She would have melted then. Say hello to my little friend. All right, let's see if it'll stick in there. Whew. Well, I mean, it's stuck in there and I can't pull it out. Two-handing her. Oh, I can't pull it out of there. All right, let's cut this open and see what we got. Jeez, like I literally just melted it all in there, and like I can hold on to it. It's not even that hot. Just like so. And we'll see if we can pry her open. Oh yeah. Tickety boo, we got a lead slug fused to that cable. So we just got to get our grinder out. We'll carve her down to the shape we need, like the, where is it? Now we just got to grind this one down to look like that, and then we should be in good shape. I don't have a belt sander thing, but I got one of these Milwaukee Fuel handheld die grinder thingies. I don't know what you call it, diamond file or something. It's got the little belt on there. So they're handy. You can pivot this thing around so it'll go anywhere you want. So I'm just going to put her straight up like that, lock her down. I'm just going to lock it right in the vise like so. And I'll use this as a bench grinder type deal. Look at that. Work smart, not hard, eh? It's working pretty good that way, but then this side's got a hard edge underneath the belt, so I think I'll pivot it around, put it in the vise this way, so I'd have like a tabletop belt sander type of deal. And my Mac tool guy, Claude, when he told me this, he's like, yeah, you'd be the kind of guy, you'd be able to figure out some good uses for this. Well, here you go, buddy. Let's check and see how she fits. Oh, look at that right there. Not only is that a nice one, but tickety-boo. Perfect. We got just grinding that thing down. That lead's melted into the cable. That slug slides over there. Oh, we're golden. There you go, Claude. You can tell people on the tool truck how they can use this thing now. Clamp her in the vise and use her as a freaking belt sander. So, I mean, we're getting there. I've got this thing kind of rigged up. And then, you know, now that I got that on there, look at that. Oh, yeah. And this is heavy duty freaking cable, so it should work pretty good. Alrighty, so I just pulled the seat off and then I just got to undo the original cable, get it out of here. It just pulls right out. So now I'll have to figure out how I'm going to rig this guy up in there. I can modify my bracket here so it'll pinch into there. Now I can just slide that into there, drop it in. I'll have to open up the groove I got in there so that'll fit in, and then I'll have to put like a nut or a way of fixing it in there so it doesn't back off. But then I should be able to pull this cable. Oh yeah, we got throttle. Oh, that's gonna be mint. So now that I got the throttle body in figured out, this side here, I'm just gonna cut this flare nut off so I can just have the cable piece itself. Now we just gotta spread this guy apart. Just like so. And then we're just left with this guy. So what I'll do is I'll grind this down a little bit so it's that inside diameter. And then I'll drill a hole in that steel plate I got. And this should just slip right in. Same thing, we'll just rig this guy up again. I gotta say, that works mint. I've got that all ground down so it's all one transition there. So I'll drill a hole in that steel this size here, and then that should just butt up in there. I got a piece of steel bolted onto here and I had a hole drilled in it for that little throttle cable. So I'll leave that one here just in case I want to go back to using one of those in an emergency or something like that. So I'm just drilling a hole right beside it, and I'm just gonna go straight through. Like so. This cable housing will just push in there just like that. Okie dokie artichoke. So I just grabbed a 3/8 bolt here. I drilled a hole through it. I got 2 nuts to act as a wedge or lock for it. So I'm just gonna weld it onto the back side of this bracket here. That way, if I ever do need to go back to the cable I had on here before, it'll all still fit and work. But for now, line this sucker up and give her a little bit of a tack noodle. Woo! That's hot. Nice one. I gotta feed this guy through here. Cable's gonna be a bit on the long side, D-Round.
Just coil around a couple times.
That's what zip ties are for.
Yeah.
So this guy's just gonna go like so. Whew. That bolt is hot. I just lost some fingerprints, D-Ron. Oh yeah. I'm not gonna have any fingerprints when this is all said and done. I'm freaking melting them all off. So just running that cable through there. I'll slide that guy right in, so it wedges right in there. This should work. And then we just gotta thread these nuts onto each other so it pinches against the cable, traps it in between so the cable can't pull out. I think that should do it. And then we just gotta come in here, loop our cable end on, slide it into here, and then I'll probably put a good old zip tie on there. But then we can clip this guy down. Look at that. Factory. We got the cable hooked on both ends, so when I hit the pedal here, should see it move there. Oh, nice one. Look at that. And I think we're getting full throttle sweepage. That's meant homemade, heavy duty throttle cable. Check. And then we'll just put a zip tie on here just in case so it doesn't fall off of there. You know what I mean? Zip ties, gotta love them. All right, so I mean, it ain't 100%, but it's gonna work, you know, mint if you squint kind of deal. I got her locked in there. So now when I hit the throttle, oh, look at that. Now that is a heavy duty throttle cable. That ain't gonna be wearing out on me anytime soon. And I mean, hey, timing couldn't be perfect. I've drained all the fuel out of this because I think I was having an issue with the bad grade of fuel. My buddy D-Ron has just come in. He's got...
Not much. Hey, $100.
Pick me up a can of... That's pump gas, but it's like race gas.
$100. There it is. There's your line. Not even half.
And what grade is that?
105.
So that's 105, not even half of that can, and that was $100?
$100. $8.25 a liter.
But hey, we're technically still running pump gas.
That's right. Got pump gas.
Gotta love the reserve, eh?
Oh, yeah.
Fire water.
Yeah.
All right, so we are back to square one. Throttle cable, homemade throttle cable. Hopefully it holds out and works better than that little dinky cable. Blackstock Motorsports actually just called me and the park brake cable is in, but I'm gonna give this a go and then I'll make my way up there and grab that other one, so I got it as a spare anyway. But I'm feeling good about this one. I'm confident in my skills to pay the bills there. I think this throttle cable is going to do the trick. And I dumped in that $1 million fuel from D-Ron there from the reserve. The octane rating on that is 105. So, hey, we got to take it for a test drive. Maybe we can hit 105 now. So, pitter patter, let's get at her. Let's take it for a rip. All right, this is going to be the last run. I just freaking did a run, but I forgot to turn the camera on, so I didn't get it. And it was a mint run, and then she started overheating, so let her cool down, let's go again. Or not. Holy Jesus, Murphy. Well, win, lose, or draw. I don't know what we just ran, but I think that's a wrap for this thing. Holy gee. All right, well, today didn't really go exactly as I thought it would. You know, it didn't go as planned, but, you know, hey, you make do with what you got. Broke the throttle cable on that, replaced it with a homemade jobby, turned out mint, and she works mint, you know. Hit my new highest speed record, 108 mile an hour. Yeah, redneck's dirty hands, getting her done, going fast. You know, I started this project around 3 years ago, and the idea was to make, you know, possibly the world's fastest golf cart. You know, I don't think we actually hold that title yet. There is another golf cart out there. If you search world fastest golf carts, Plum Quick Motors, it's an electric cart. They got, I think it's 118 mile an hour in the quarter mile, and I think it's a 12.2 something second quarter mile. I've got my personal best 1320. I'll put it up on the screen there with the draggy. So 1320 and 1320 feet, not bad, not bad. That's a second 100 feet, right? But 101 mile an hour in the quarter, that's pretty good. I'm only 17 miles an hour away from the world record, so I'm coming for you. I think this thing's got it in it. And then I got my personal best 60 foot, 1.99. I mean, that's not bad. That's not bad. That's doing pretty good for a stock kind of style golf cart. I mean, it's not all fancy suspension or nothing. That's golf cart rims and tires, golf cart spindles. You know, 108 mile an hour on this is, it's sketchy for sure, but she's working good. And then top speed, 107.52, I think, on the draggy. And the GPS on the GoPro, 108. So, yeah. Can't complain about that. I don't think I got to push my luck anymore, you know. Hitting 108 is pretty good. I could go for 110 tomorrow, but you know what? I got to get the fuel tech off of there and get working on some of the snowmobile projects. And, you know, I'm pushing my luck too. Yeah, Christina doesn't know I've been doing this, so I've been having some fun pushing the limits, testing this without her knowing.
Excuse me?
Oh, oh, hey, honey.
What did I hear?
Nothing. I was not driving that, I promise.
Where'd these come from? Oh. These weren't here before.
Yeah, I guess you're not used to seeing those kind of skid marks. I usually see the ones that leave in the laundry. Hi, honey.
Hi.
So Christina is happy to hear that I'm not going to be pushing my fate anymore. I'm going to call her quits at 108 mile an hour for now. Right, baby?
Yes. Although I would like to see you take it down like a drag strip once.
I would love...
Cool.
I would love to see that,
that
right?
Would be cool.
It would be cool.
Yes.
You know, we got our buddy Leon. He's got that 600 horsepower Boss 302. We put the draggy on his, and it was running 13. I think it was like around the same time as this, so that would be an awesome race. And then his buddy Daryl's got like a 68 or 69 stroker motor Camaro. So I think, you know, do it kind of like the Hoonicorn versus the world, be the Power One versus the world. Let's go racing some cars. We've been doing all this trying to get out today. I was having issues with the cameras not working and all that. I was missing shots and never got a chance to deploy the parachute. And everybody wants to see the parachute deployed. So what do we do?
I got an idea.
Oh, yeah? Not gonna lie, I was expecting a little more.
Anticlimactic.
That was very anticlimactic. Well, I think we could do better. All right, well, that's a little bit better there. We actually got to see the parachute do its thing. And what was the first thing you said when you saw the parachute deployed, baby?
It was tiny. It wasn't as big as I thought it was.
That's literally what she said.
Yeah. It was so small. Thought it was bigger.
All right, enough already.
Sorry.
Well, as always, you know, we appreciate everybody tuning in, watching the videos, the supporting the channel, subscribing, you know, leaving comments, all that. You know, this has been a fun project. It's been a long one in the making, 3 years, but finally 108 mile an hour. Not too bad, not too bad. And now we got to switch over to sled season. And wouldn't you know it, guess who's back? Jim! So we're rolling back into sled season, so stay tuned. Cheers.
Cheers.